Hey guys, happy 2020. My name is Serena. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to start filming all of my end of the year videos because I didn't have time to do them in December. By the way, I cut my own hair. I will insert a clip if you're interested. I just really needed to cut my hair and I like it. I didn't style it today, so it's a little bit of a mess. But anyway, I want to start by filming something that I'm in the mood to do, and that is all of the movies and TV show seasons that I've watched from the second half of July until December, because I did a part 1 of this year, the first half of the year, and I think that I've watched less movies than the second half of this year, because in December in particular I've been very into movies. I just wanted to relax because now I'm in exam season, so stress is coming. Anyway, let's begin because I've watched in the second half 61 movies and 14 TV show seasons. I was debating if dividing this video in part 1 or part 2, but nah, I'm just mainly going to say if I like the movie or not. I'm going to put the rating on the screen and why I liked it or not. So first of all, at the end of July and at the beginning of August, I believe, I watched the first 8 movies of the Fast and Furious series. I think there are 8. July is a long time ago if you think about it. But yeah, my overall thoughts about these movies so far are that the first movie was more realistic, and it was just a story about street racing. And as the movies go by, these characters become more and more like superheroes, and now they're just like action movies, full of unrealistic scenes. But yeah, they're entertaining. I really liked the vibe that was before. Funny enough, my favorite movie of the 8 so far is Fast 5, I think. And I think it's the perfect balance between the two ends. Next, I watched at the theaters Hobbs and Shaw, and still an entertaining action movie. I am not going to rewatch it, maybe. Like, it's not a movie that I will feel the need to rewatch, but if it happens, okay. But it wasn't bad at all. I like The Rock. I like the duo, their interactions, and it was enjoyable. Next, I watched Stardust. If you remember, I read this book in July because it's a book to movie adaptation. It's by Neil Gaiman, the book, and the book wasn't for me, and I feel like the preferred media for this story is actually the movie. It was entertaining, and I am sure that I would have really liked it as a kid more. Next, I watched the first 3 movies of the Rocky series. I really want to start watching older movies. I really like the 80s, the 70s, that vibe, I really want to watch older movies, and I enjoy them. I obviously love the first movie because it's the introduction to the story, to the characters. I went to Philadelphia this summer. It wasn't my first time there, but I went where, the iconic scene of the stairs was, and I decided I want to watch the movies, and I watched the first 3. I have to continue on. I have to watch the 4th, the 5th. I think there's another one after that, and then there are the Creed movies, but for now I've watched the first 3, enjoy them. I really like the second one. By the way, guys, this year I have been to the theaters a lot. I just really want to be up to date with all the movies that are coming out, especially the ones that I'm interested in. Of course, I'm not gonna spend money to see a movie that I'm not interested in. The next movie that I watched in the theaters was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I am looking over there because I have everything on my screen on the computer, but I've watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and let me just say that if you want to watch this movie, you should be informed on, you know, the time period. It's about Hollywood in, I think, the late 60s, and I wasn't informed at all about the period of the, you know, what happened in cinema. And after watching this movie, I read a little bit, I informed myself. Now I get it, and I enjoyed it way more after knowing that, you know. It's a long movie. In the theaters, I was confused. Sometimes I didn't know what was going on, but after going home and reading what actually it was about, I enjoyed it. After that, on the airplane from USA to Italy, I watched 3 movies on the airplane. I didn't sleep at all, and I watched 3 movies. I've watched The Hate You Give, Alita, Battle Angel, and Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. So let's talk about The Hate You Give. It's a book to movie adaptation, as you all know. Let me just say that I enjoy the book more, that there's no doubt, but it is a good movie. I think it was pretty faithful to the book. It's not like I'm going to rewatch it. I would rather reread the book than rewatch the movie, but it was good. Alita Battle Angel, I was honestly expecting more. Maybe it's just not my type of movie, but it is good. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just, for some reason, it doesn't stick with me, you know? I like the cinematography. Honestly, it amazes me how they do this stuff. You know, it amazes me. Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl, on the other hand, I did not like. It's a story about a girl dying from cancer. I only remember that I watched this movie because I watched it on the airplane. It was boring. It was, for me, a little boring. Yeah. When I came back here in Italy, I went to the theaters and I watched It Chapter 2. I don't know why. Maybe I should rewatch the first part, but I really enjoyed the second part more than the first one, I feel like. But maybe if I rewatch the movies, who knows. I did enjoy it. There's something with horror movies that don't make them my favorite, but I actually really enjoyed this one. Then I finished The Spectacular Now. I read the book this last year and yeah, no. These teenagers, whoa. I didn't like the characters, guys. You know, the drama, not for me. It's a teen movie and book, so if you're into that, I recommend it, but it was not for me. Next, I watched in the theaters Astra with Brad Pitt, and it was kind of boring, honestly. I like space movies. I watched another one later in December. I will talk about that, and I really enjoyed that one. I want to watch more. I want to watch Interstellar and other movies, but this one was a bit boring. As I said, I am amazed about, you know, the cinematography, how they do certain things, but Brad Pitt's character there wasn't any character development, I remember. So yeah, just average maybe. Next, I watched Yesterday, and this is a movie about, you know, the Beatles, if the Beatles never existed, and this guy starts singing their songs, and even though the Beatles never existed, their music gets popular again. And I feel like, and what I feel like is, with that genre of music still be popular this day? I think not. I feel like it wouldn't be as popular today. They still would be someone who enjoys that type of genre. I think that the youth nowadays would not enjoy that type of music. Am I wrong? I don't know. It was a cute movie though. Next, in October, I discovered that Rambo 5, The Last Blood, was going to come out. I had never watched a Rambo movie before, so I decided to watch every single one of them before going to the movies and see the last one. And I really enjoyed the first one. The second, third, and fourth are more in the war vibe. I don't know. And Sylvester Stallone in the third one, he was in his best shape, honestly. But the last one, there's a different vibe because it wasn't about the war or the aftermath of the war. It was about, you know, the Mexico, how do you call it? Mafia? I don't know. It's about his niece going to Mexico and things happen. But it was sad, but also a good conclusion. I think that after this movie, really, no more Rambo. That's enough. The next movie that I watched in the theaters is my favorite movie of 2019, and I actually rewatched it yesterday, the 1st of January, and it's Joker. Guys, it was amazing. I really hope he wins the Oscar because he did an amazing job. He lost a lot of weight. He was so skinny, and oh my god, he was amazing. And guys, I do not like superhero movies. I still want to watch all of the Marvel movies, but it's not my thing. But this one is not about superheroes at all. It's more about the character, Joker, and it's amazing. Some of the people that were with me at the theaters thought that it was kind of slow at the beginning, but even rewatching it yesterday, I thought that it was perfect. The slow changing of Joker, of Arthur Fleck, and I don't know, guys, you should watch it really. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing, but I feel like this movie is amazing and it's my favorite movie of 2019. Next, I watched on Netflix Tall Girl, and nah. Guys, teen movies are not for me anymore. For the most part. This is a no. Yeah, she was tall, yeah, but she was gorgeous, so really, why would you bully for teenagers? Next, I watched at the movies Gemini Man with Will Smith, and it was just an average movie, action movie. It's about this guy who has, you know, his doppelganger, his younger self, as, you know, it was created with his DNA, and he fights him, and, you know, typical action movie. It was good, it wasn't great, it wasn't bad, it was average for me. Don't feel the need to rewatch it, but yeah. Next, I watched Maleficent 2, and I enjoyed the first one more than the second one. The second one was good. It wasn't bad. It was average. I got emotional at the end. Then I watched Hustlers, and guys, I really enjoyed this one. Honestly, it was what I was expecting. It was fun. Jennifer Lopez is so hot for being, you know, 50. She has an amazing body, and I could only wish to be. I'm not like her now that I'm in my 20s, so yeah, it was entertaining. I really enjoy this more than the past two movies that I watched. I enjoyed Hustlers. It's about these strippers, and after 2008 with the crisis, they start doing things, and yeah, entertaining. Next, I had my free month on Amazon Prime, so I decided to watch a few things on Prime Video, and especially I watched some seasons, some TV show seasons, which I'll talk about later. But as for short movies, I watched 2 things, and in both things there was Rihanna. Oh, funny enough, I watched Guava Island with Childish Gambino, and the Fenty and Savage show. They were, you know, short. The Fenty show was like a fashion show, and it was entertaining, but you know, nothing else. So yeah. Next, I watched Ford versus Ferrari. This is a movie about race cars, about racing. It's obviously inspired by a real event that happened. And I remember a few years ago, I watched Rush, and I really enjoyed that. So I really wanted to watch this one, but I actually enjoyed Rush more than this one. It was a good movie. I really wanted to watch it because of Catriona Balfe as well, because I really like Outlander and I wanted to support this film and see how she did in other roles. She was amazing as well. It was good, guys, it was good. Back in November, I read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and it wasn't for me at all. The humor I didn't get. It just really wasn't a book for me. I decided to watch the movie anyway, and it still wasn't for me. I would even say that it's stupid. And I know that some people like that. Some people like the humor, get the humor. It's not my kind of humor, so I did not enjoy it. Next, I watched with my little cousin Frozen 2, and I cried. You know, Disney movies can do that. I really enjoyed it. It's mostly about, you know, Elsa finding out where her powers come from, and it was cute. It was just cute, and I enjoyed it very much. I still have to listen to the soundtrack in English because I watched the movie in Italian, obviously. I also watched Midway, and this one I really enjoyed. It's inspired by a real event as well. After World War II, I feel it was the war between USA and Japan, and in particular it's about the events after Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, and I enjoyed this one. I can't believe that these things actually happened. Like, I could never, you know, I could never imagine being in their place, and it's crazy what humans would do. I'm gonna briefly mention that I also watched on Amazon Prime, Prime Video, I watched Chiara Ferragni Unposted. Chiara Ferragni is a Italian influencer. I think she's like the biggest influencer in the world, actually, and she did a documentary. I was expecting, you know, something about the life of an influencer. I don't know how she did it, but it was mostly about her life, you know. All the second half of the movie, of the documentary, was about her getting married, which was a huge event, like bigger than the royal wedding, about her, you know, having a son and all that. I was expecting something different, so I did not enjoy it. It says Chiara Ferragni Unposted, but it's actually everything she actually posted on Instagram. for the most part. Next, I watched A Rainy Day in New York, I think it's called. It's a film by Woody Allen, and I think I have to watch more of Woody Allen's movies. I've watched a TV show by him, which I'll talk about in a little bit, and they have the same vibe. So you can tell it's by Woody Allen. You can tell he directed it. But I'm not sure this vibe is for me. It was interesting, but at the same time it was, you know, just average. It's about this couple who goes to university, and she has to interview a director in New York, so she and her boyfriend go to New York. She ends up spending all this rainy day with these people, and he spends it with other people, and you know, weird things happen. Guys, I had never watched Star Wars. Actually, that's not true, because I watched the first two, episode 4 and episode 5, I think in 2018, but then I stopped for some reason, and now in December, as we all know, the last movie of the third trilogy came out, and I said to myself, I have to watch all these movies, come on, I have to go and see it. So I watched this episode 6, 1, 2, 3, episode 7, episode 8, Rogue One, and Solo. I watched all of these movies in December, and then went to the cinema and watched the 9th episode. Overall, I really enjoyed the original trilogy. It had a different feel to it, and you know, you can't, you know, it's a classic. It's honestly a classic, and it, as I always say, it amazes me how cinematography was, even back then, it was great. I love the characters. I think that Han Solo and Chewie are my favorite characters. This bromance is everything. I love them so much. I also love the droids, in particular R2-D2, and in the last trilogy I love BB-8. But in the last trilogy, you could tell that it's more Disney. Like all of the little jokes, which sometimes were very cringeworthy. I enjoyed the first movie, like the humor in the first movie, but then in the second and the third one honestly was a little bit of a mess. They wanted to do a lot, and there wasn't a lot of, you know, backstory of the villain. What was his name? Snook. Anyway, it was mostly, you know, very action-packed, very, you know, it gave off superhero vibes. It's more for the newer generation, and definitely not for, you know, the original fans of Star Wars. I may be wrong, but I feel like that right now. The second trilogy was, my favorite one was the third one, episode 3, with, you know, the change of Anakin Skywalker and all that. The other two was a little bit boring. Rogue One was boring for me, believe it or not. Maybe I wasn't in the mood because I was watching Star Wars back to back, so maybe I should rewatch it, but it was boring. I would definitely say it was boring for me. Solo, on the other hand, I really enjoyed. As I said, I really like Han Solo and Chewbacca, so I really enjoyed this prequel. Let's say that overall I enjoyed the original trilogy. From the prequels, I really enjoyed the third one. From the third trilogy, I really enjoyed the episode 7, and from the two prequels, Solo. Got it? Next, I watched Room. This is also a book to movie adaptation. I read the book in 2019. I enjoyed it. I got anxious, in particular in a part and I wasn't as anxious watching the movie because I knew what was going to happen. Also, the book is told by a kid's perspective, which was a little bit annoying sometimes, but the movie was done very well. It was very faithful to the book. It deserved the Oscar that it got. I think the actress got the Oscar, but the kid, it amazes me how kids can be good at acting. It's crazy. Guys, let's talk about all of the Christmas movies that I watched the past month, and I'm just gonna list them off. I watched Last Christmas at the theaters. I watched The Princess Switch and The Night Before Christmas with Vanessa Hudgens. I watched A Cinderella Story, A Christmas Wish. I watched Let It Snow. I watched The Holiday Calendar and Christmas Inheritance. And apart from Last Christmas, all the other movies were on Netflix. Let's rate them. I enjoyed Last Christmas. If you know the song Last Christmas, you could tell what's going to happen in the movie. Very clever, very clever. The Princess Switch and The Night Before Christmas were one of my favorite movies that I watched on Netflix because I don't know if it's, Vanessa Hudgens, but she is great in Christmas movies, honestly. I like Christmas movies, guys. I like the cliches. I like that happy vibe, those fairy tale type of stories. If it's set around Christmas, that's the only way I like that type of movie, honestly, probably. But I have to say that A Cinderella Story, A Christmas Wish was horrible. Horrible. I hated it. Auto-tune, very unrealistic, she had a wig on and he had a fake beard on and they couldn't tell who they were. No. And the stepmother, so bad. The holiday calendar was meh. I would not rewatch it. And the Christmas Inheritance was better. I like that one. So yeah. Oh, and Let It Snow. Let It Snow was good as well. I like that there were all those little stories intertwined. It was cute. Did not read the book, but it was cute. Then I watched Knives Out, and this is more of a mystery movie. It's about this writer that dies, and there's this investigator who is trying to figure out who did it, if he was killed, if he wasn't killed, if it was suicide. Clever. The reveal wasn't mind-blowing, but it's a good movie. Then I watched Serena. I read the book in 2018, I think, and the book is better, definitely. The movie was... I was expecting something better, honestly. I feel a little bit disappointed, but average. I was expecting more, even because this duo of Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence, they're great. I was expecting a little bit more, but it probably wasn't their fault. It was the writer's fault. But as I said, cinematography, those shots were beautiful, but yeah, average. About that other space movie that I watched The Martian with Matt Damon, and it was great. I do not know anything about physics, so I do not know how realistic it is, but it was good for me. I love the humor. I read the book this year as well. I tried to watch all those book to movie adaptations of the books that I read this year. So I'm glad that I did that. I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the book. As I said, I don't know anything about science, but interesting, and I love the humor. I like when there's humor in these types of movies because it could get boring so fast. So I like that. Last movie of 2019 and last movie of the decade, Jumanji: The Next Level. And guys, funniest movie of the year. I love the first one and I love the second one. I feel like this group of people is amazing. The Rock, Jack Black, Kevin Hart, and I think her name is Karen Gillan? Anyway, they're amazing. So funny. I laughed out loud in the theaters. I never laugh out loud. And I remember watching the first movie and I was in a very bad mood and I laughed out loud. So I really enjoyed it. Those are all the movies that I watched. Let's talk about the TV seasons. So this summer, I rewatched all of Outlander, and in February, the 5th season is coming out, and I cannot wait. I rewatched them with my cousin. She is really enjoying them as well, so loved the rewatch. I could rewatch this series over and over again. One of my favorite shows ever. I'm just gonna briefly mention that I watched season 7, the last season of Once Upon a Time. Yeah, no, Once Upon a Time was good at the beginning, but slowly it became worse. So I just really wanted to complete this show, and I'm glad I did. I watched season 2 of Riverdale. Cool. I enjoy it. Not, I'm not one of those big fans like Riverdale forever, but I am enjoying it. I have to continue on. I watched season 3 of iZombie. Not the best show for me, but it's on Netflix and I started it, so when I have time I continue on with it if I am in the mood. Then I watched season 2 of The Crown. The Crown is great on the other hand. I cannot wait to watch the 3rd season with other actors because the characters grow and they had to change the actors, so I'm interested in that. I watched season 4 and I'm currently watching season 5 of Fuller House. Full House is my childhood, so I wanted to watch Fuller House as well. It's entertaining, it's cute, family type of show, so yeah, nothing spectacular. What do you expect? As for, new series, I watched Rhythm and Flow, which is more like a talent show with Cardi B, Chance the Rapper, and T.I. It's about finding the new best rapper, and the person that I was rooting for won the competition. My top 3 actually were in the finale, so yay me. I never watch reality TV or talent shows, but I really wanted to check this out because I find Cardi B very entertaining, so I was curious and I watched it. As for the Prime Video shows that I watched Carnival Row, and it was average for me, I have to say. It did not end as shocking as I was expecting, and it didn't leave a mark. It didn't left me hanging. There was no cliffhanger. It was just average for me. I know that a lot of you guys liked it. I liked it. It was average. Then I watched Modern Love. Guys, the first episode, it's only half an hour, and I sobbed. After 10 minutes, I was sobbing. I was crying so hard. I loved that first episode so much. So much. Excuse my change in camera angle, if there is any, because my camera just died. Anyway, I was talking about Modern Love, and I have to say that my favorite was the first episode, as I said, but I also enjoyed episode 8, 7, and 3. If you guys have watched this series, you should know what I'm talking about. There are 8 episodes in total. It's basically about all types of love, all different types of love in the city, New York City, and some episodes, there was the 6th episode, which was very cringy. I did not like that, but the other ones were cute, and I recommend the show. I also watched Homecoming. It's like a mystery type of show. It's about this woman who is a therapist for men who come from the war, and it's about what happens to one of them, you know, and the ending wasn't mind-blowing, but it wasn't a bad show at all. Then I watched Crisis in 6 Scenes, and this is the show that I was talking about by Woody Allen. I did not like it. As I said, I'm not sure if Woody Allen style is for me. I enjoyed his movie more than the show. There's Miley Cyrus in the show, by the way. I think this one is set in the 60s. It's about this couple who helps this young girl, who is played by Miley Cyrus, stay away from the police because she does something. She's like a rebel or something. But yeah, it's not for me. Then I watched Z, The Beginning of Everything, and this is a show that talks about Zelda, F. Scott Fitzgerald's wife, and I found out they're not gonna continue on with this show. I wanted them to because it was interesting enough for me to continue on if they made other seasons, you know? So it was very interesting. The characters are unlikable, but I read that Zelda ends up being, you know, diagnosed as schizophrenic or something like that. So I was very curious in seeing how that was going to go, but we'll never know because they canceled the show. I am watching Friends, you guys. I've completed season 2. I cannot wait to continue on. I love this show already. I know, guys, it's set in the 90s. There was another mentality. There are some jokes that are not acceptable today, but still, I really want a friend group like that. Guys, I like it. I love it. I love it. Rachel, Ross. I don't know who I am more like. I feel like I am a little bit Rachel and a little bit when, you know, we're talking about organization and stuff like that. I'm a little bit Monica as well, but I love this show, guys. Can't wait to continue on. During the Christmas period, I watched a new show on Netflix, Merry Happy Whatever, and there's Dennis Quaid, Ashley Tisdale, Bridget Mendler. It was cute. I enjoyed some Christmas movies more than this show, but it was cute. It's about this very attached family, and the in-laws not very liking their like very tight relationship with strict rules and stuff, and just a family show, guys. Last TV show season that I've watched this year is V-Wars with Ian Somerhalder. Guys, this guy loves vampire shows. I enjoyed it. I would watch the second season if there is going to be one. It's interesting that Ian and his wife, Nikki Reed, are actually playing husband and ex-husband and ex-wife in the show. It's kind of hilarious because they're married in real life. Anyway, it's about this this thing that is spreading that is making other people like vampires. It's a vampire show. Awesome. I like it. This video is so long. What I want to know is if between all of the things that I've mentioned in this video, is there any of your favorite movies of 2019? Let me know what your thoughts are. I don't know if you've made it this far, probably not in the video, but I hope you enjoy this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.